The possible impeachment of US President Donald Trump moves into a new phase today with the first public hearings. This is after a lengthy investigation on whether Trump used his power to pressure Ukraine to investigate his political opponents. I'm joined by Wits professor and international relations expert Anthony von Newkirk. I got it right. Excellent. That's a good start. What's going to happen today?
You know, like the Zondo Commission, there's a public spectacle. So alleged perpetrators on display for all to see, and the media are salivating over the potential of hearing firsthand what those witnesses actually have to say. So remember, this was preceded by a in-house parliamentary inquiry, if you want, to determine actually whether it's worth pursuing the charges against President Trump. It now emerges that there's enough credible witnesses and a story to tell to go to the next phase, as you've just said, which is to allow the House of Representatives. So the American Parliament has two houses, like we have. So the House of Representatives will conduct the first phase now, public hearings to determine whether indeed President Trump can be accused of crimes and misdemeanor, high crimes and misdemeanor. And it all relates to the telephone call he made to the President of Ukraine. If after this process of open hearings, enough strong evidence emerges that it's worth impeaching the President, it goes to the other House of Parliament, the Senate, which is loaded with Republicans, who will then have to judge whether he's guilty or not. If they find him guilty, he'll resign, like Nixon did. That's it.
All right. What chances of finding him guilty? I mean, I know that the Democrats are desperate. I mean, the Americans, they're just like, oh, yeah, here we go again. Another failed attempt to get anything to stick.
Right. Lots of cynicism because the process has been politicized, invariably. The Democrats are so angry. They want to get rid of Donald Trump because they believe that he's threatening or compromising national security and the image and profile of America in the world by pursuing personal agendas.
And they're not wrong there.
They're not wrong there, in my view, in the view of many commentators and analysts. In fact, he's trying to compromise Joe Biden, who's probably the front-runner, or one of the front-runners.
Correct.
By implicating his son in doing business in Ukraine in a shady way. So he's saying to a foreign government and a foreign president, I'll give you support to keep the Russians at bay in Ukraine, but do me a favor. You know, spill some dirt on this Biden son.
That's extraordinary.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
So there's a strong case, and it's not the first one and the only one. Remember the big Mueller report about the alleged Russian involvement in the American election. That thing is still hovering and smoldering because it's unclear. That was cause for impeachment. But the Democrats moved too fast and they were too hungry to get rid of Trump. I think now they've learned the lesson. You have to do this by the book, take it step by step. But let me say, Jane, in the end, probably if the Republicans have to say whether Trump must go or not, they'll keep him. Because he's a popular president amongst many. Yes, amongst many Americans.
I mean, he tweeted. He loves his tweets, obviously, as offensive as they can be.
40,000 tweets, or something.
He says the Republicans have never been more united, and his Republican rating is now at 95%. He's probably not wrong there.
He's probably right, and so his party loves him because he's a maverick. He bends and breaks the rules. They don't care because America first. He makes sure that jobs are created. What more can you say?
And even though those jobs like the coal industry, it's almost going back in time. I mean, that's
destroying international treaties in the process. But what would they care? It's the superpower. They can do as they want. This hubris, I think, you know, they'll have to pay a price for it at some point.
Yeah.
Because China is rising.
I was going to say, we've already seen it in the trade war with China.
That's correct.
Right. Okay, so say, and I gather the feeling, I've been talking to a lot of people in the States, the feeling is that it's not going to stick.
No.
And that his popularity off the back of this will rise because he will just milk it. And he's good at that.
That's right. This thing is going to happen fast because, remember, next year there's an election waiting. He wants to get the second term. The Democrats are in a quandary, in a bind, because do they spend all their political energy trying to impeach Trump? He is impeachable, in my view, but they won't win the political battle, the numbers game.
No.
And then very depressing. It's a bit like the DA without Musi Maimane. Now they have to face the election next year and fight the Republicans on domestic issues. And the Democrats don't have a strong candidate, a front-runner. Biden is very old. And so who are they going to put up as a dirty fighter to face Trump? who will be victorious.
Speechless.
Normal.
Anthony, thank you very much
Okay.
for that.
Pleasure.